With Pitch Guide, we've built this really fun resource that has essentially everything you need to know about pitching. And as part of that, we're doing these pitch deck review live. Ta-da! And every month we do a Q&A session just for the subscribers. So if you have any questions or anything like that, come to those. For this week's pitch deck review live, we'll click through and do a pitch deck review, as usual, of a pitch deck that I just had a quick skim through, but I haven't looked at it in a great amount of detail. But basically the idea is through me talking through the pitch deck, that you get a sense of what an investor looks for as they're clicking through a deck. And the hope is that is helpful to you when you're building your own deck. I wrote that book. It's called Pitch Perfect, and it's beautiful and sits on the shelf and is massively out of date, so don't buy it. It was really good when it got published, but it got published back in 2020, and since then we've had a pandemic and we've had boom times, we've had bust times. Things are very different in startup land now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment for Pitch Deck Review Live for the month of May. We do this every month, and I'm psyched to talk you through some of the interesting things about this deck and some of the challenges with this deck. Let's get started. Pitch Deck Review Live. Today's pitch deck that we're taking a look at is the pitch deck from Channel New York City. It's an interesting deck, and I'm not entirely sure if I love it, but we can talk about why not. Let's click onto the first slide, and here we go. Channel NYC, streaming entertainment, city information, and the contact details for the founder. Now, I often say that design doesn't matter for pitch decks, and I stand by that. However, that is true to a point. This doesn't look like a particularly designed deck at all, and that's unfortunate. Most of the time, if you just grab any sort of template of the internet, you're probably in the realm of immediately, straight off the bat, my first impression of this isn't super positive. That's okay. Decks don't have to be beautiful. And that's particularly true for decks that are focused on B2B. If you are building a tool that is, if you're building an API tool or if you're building an AI tool that doesn't really have a front end, I'm like, look, the design doesn't matter, but then design doesn't matter to your business. Already from this cover slide, I'm seeing streaming entertainment and city information. This is an important piece of, if you're building a consumer brand, you need to have consumer brand level design, and that is missing here. The other thing is streaming entertainment and city information. I don't actually know what this company does. So Channel New York City, I'm still a little confused about which industry they're in and what they're doing. But let's see if that becomes clearer once we start going through it. Cover slide could do with a little bit of improvement. New York City has only two choices: watch videos with no info or get info with no videos. Okay. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Yelp, and Timeout, New York related content. Only one platform has both, New York videos and New York City info. I'm struggling right off the bat to figure out whether or not this is something that people are willing to spend money on. Now, and what I mean by that is, what is it about this particular company? What is the problem that they have found? What is the challenge? What is the problem? How would people pay for this? I'm not entirely sure. And so I'm struggling a little bit right now, right off the bat, to even figure out what the company does. Well, it says it does videos and info, but I don't know to what end. Immediately in my mind, I'm like, okay, what is this for? Honestly, if I were an associate looking at hundreds of decks a day, which I've been there, this would probably be the time where this deck goes in the bin, right? I don't have time to spend a bunch of time trying to figure out what the founders are trying to tell me. And this deck right now, New York City only has two choices: videos with no info or info with no videos. Like, what kind of info? What kind of videos? I don't know. Why do we need New York content? Now, there's a caveat here, because I have not spent a lot of time in New York. Maybe there's something very special and unique about New York that means that you need this kind of info. But I don't know that. I'm a San Francisco kid, and I can't think of anybody that does video and info for San Francisco. But maybe that's different because you don't need it for some reason. Okay, still a little confused. Solution: get the only New York City platform with New York videos and New York info. Streaming SFV? I don't know what SFV means. What does SFV? Okay, I'm going to Google it. Street Fighter 5. SFV Business. San Fernando Valley. That's not helpful. SFV Content. Street Fighter 5. Okay, so even after a couple of quick Google searches, I still don't know what S is. Confused, right? I guess as Channel New York City, this looks like maybe a TikTok type clone or something that is focused specifically on New York. And I am still struggling to see what this is or what it's doing. So already now we're pretty deep into the deck, and I don't really know what the company is doing or why it's doing it. And they've come to me. If I were, again, if I were an investor, they would have lost me at the previous slide. If I somehow pushed through, they would have lost me on this slide. Okay, so this looks like a website, Channel NYC. Okay, maybe it becomes clearer if I actually go to the company's website, Channel NYC. Okay, Channel NYC. Okay, so that's another challenge here. I'm trying to Google this site, and I can't find it. It's showing Chanel. Okay, let me go back, and let me actually go to the cover slide. channelnyc.com. Okay, so now I know what the URL is. Let's go there. channelnyc.com. Okay, website coming soon in 40 days. Okay, so now as an investor, I don't have the information I need to understand what this company does. And it seems like they've not got a site live yet. So I'm further confused about what people, short form videos, okay, but that's what TikTok is for. Places to go, I don't know. There seems to be a lot of travel type information out there. There's so much travel info out there, right? Things to do, sure. Cultures, got it. Coming soon, channel news, channel. Okay, at this point, I'm out. There's no compelling reason for me to be looking at this deck any further. But because this is a pitch deck review, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so this is a screenshot of what the app and the site will be. Don't really know what it is or what it does. Okay, why now? Take advantage of the opportunity to dominate the market for New York City social media. Okay, so this is digital advertising revenues for TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and the kind of ongoing projections, an increase of 4.3%. I don't know if advertising spend is going to go up 4.3%. I feel like advertising has been in the toilet for a while. Dominate the uncontested market for New York related social media and entertainment. Like, I need to know at this point whether these founders have a clear picture of if there's actually a need for this in the market. Have they spoken to customers? Have they figured out what it is about this particular type of business that makes sense? Do people actually need video content and all that kind of stuff about a city specifically? Now, one of the major things that I'm looking for as a potential investor is if something is venture scale, right? Does the opportunity that I have in front of me have the opportunity to give me a massive return? Could this be a fund returner? I don't know how much they're raising. We'll get to that in just a moment, I'm sure. But if I'm running a $100 million fund and they're raising 1 million, I want that million to have the at least 1% chance of getting to be 100 million, right? And right now, I'm not convinced that this is even a problem. I'm not convinced that the product makes that much sense. And I'm not sure if this comparison with marketing spend across all of TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram translates to New York City specifically, right? Now, there is a very good argument to be made for niche markets being very useful and interesting and powerful. So I won't say that's a bad idea. But so far into this deck, I'm like, I don't know what we're talking about here. Okay, let's keep going. Market size. USA population, 330 million. Okay. New York DMA. New York City. I don't know what DMA means. Larger New York? New York State? So I don't know who they're trying to raise money from. Presumably who they would raise money from has a pretty clear picture of what DMA means and why DMA is helpful. So I'm guessing these are populations. So let's call it larger New York. I don't know if that's what it is, but larger New York is 18 million people and New York City has 8 million people. Sure. That is your kind of bottoms up market size in terms of who you could possibly reach if you're only targeting New York. 8 million customers. But I still don't really know how this thing is going to make money. Now, on the other market sizing here, the population sizes here is the bottom up market sizing, although it doesn't have a dollar figure attached. Then next to that, you have a top-down market sizing, which is the TAM Samsung. So the TAM is all US digital advertising sales. But for a platform that is targeting specifically New York, you're never going to you're never going to get all the digital advertising sales in the US. So I don't actually think that the TAM is that. The TAM is probably much, much smaller. Then your SAM is $10 to $100 million. Yes, but I don't actually know what that represents. Is that the New York City? Do they think that somehow with a population of $8 million, they can attract $10 million worth of sales? I don't understand this slide. TikTok, New York City, Channel New York City. Okay, this slide makes very little sense to me. I don't know what they're trying to drill down into here. And that's a real problem, right? I've lost track. Okay, no, I haven't. We're on slide 9. The first 2 are opening slides. Okay, we're 7 slides in, and I have no idea what this company does or how it's going to make money or who it's targeting, other than something vague about New York. Okay, business model. Ooh, targeted and aggressive. Okay, target markets. New York City, monthly active users, visitors to New York. Major cities include New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Okay, so now the company's talking about LA and Chicago. So presumably this means that the company is planning to roll out in additional cities further down the line. That is great, but the problem is it seems like the company is called Channel New York City, but then it's talking about larger New York, so not New York City. I'm confused, guys. I'm really confused. This is not a great deck because I'm missing what is the why here? Why do I care? What is this thing? Then saying revenue stream, local and national advertising, sponsorship, subscription fee, live stream events, premium feature access. Okay, guys, we need to have a conversation here. This is not a business model. This is a brainstorm, right? We're talking about local and national advertising. Yes, you could get advertising dollars as a revenue stream, but show me how. Like, what is your plan? Now, this team behind this company had better be advertising executives who know how to make these sales. Because if not, like, where is this advertising going to come from? Traditionally, if you want an advertising model, you need 10 to 100,000 users at least before it starts getting interesting. And if this company is just getting off the ground, advertising isn't really a business model that makes sense. SMB sponsorships, subscription fees, live stream events, sure, these are all different potential revenue streams, but it all starts with how do you get your customers? And visitors to New York City, 60 million, sure, 60 million people visit New York. How are you going to reach them? How will they find out about this? How do they know that this is something that they need? This is not a business model slide. I don't even really know what it is, but I think it's trying to get to, I don't know. This is confusing to me. Okay, financial, raising $500,000. Okay, so that is helpful for me to know because now I have a way to put this into context. $500,000 is not a lot of money in the context of venture capital. But that means that they're trying to raise for certain milestones, right? And so what they're saying here is that they're trying to, on the right over here, they're projected to raise 300,000, they're projected to reach 300,000 monthly active users and $8 to $10 million ARR within 24 months. Now, a $10 million ARR on 300,000 monthly active users, that's really aggressive. If you can build a $10 million company with just $500,000 worth of revenue, you are a very interesting company. But so far, I haven't really seen anything in this deck that says, yeah, I believe that they can do this. Platform development, sure, I get that you're building your platform, but what are you actually developing? I don't get it. First 9 months post-launch, estimated revenues $4 to $6 million. That is incredible. Those are really aggressive targets. If you have a way of building a business that in the first 9 months gets, say, $5 million worth of revenue, that's incredible. That's really good. But I haven't seen anything here that shows, yeah, so far this is not a believable deck. The rest of the stuff here, spending money on mobile app development and video content creation and advertising and marketing and staffing, all that kind of stuff is fine. Prefer if that wasn't percentages. I want to see milestones. Traffic data needed for media kits used by advertising agencies and brands becomes available 60 to 90 days after launch. Yes, but I want to know what your goals are, right? And the milestones here seem to be 300,000 monthly active users, but there's nothing here about what the company is going to do to get those users. And these ARR numbers just aren't really that realistic, to be perfectly honest with you. Unless, and I'll say this off the bat, unless there's something about this company that I'm missing. If this if the founder of this company has, like they're going for 300,000 monthly active users, if they have a channel, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, that already has 300,000 monthly active users, I'm like, great, now you're just shifting them from one platform to the other. That is very hard, but it's not impossible. So now I hope that the next slide shows that this team is absolutely extraordinary and can deliver on this, that they have the experience it takes to do this. So let's figure that out. New York Channel NYC Management. Kevin is the founder and CEO. Adweek executive for corporate subscriptions. Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. Somebody who was Adweek does advertising. They get that. And somebody who was an executive at Adweek presumably has a pretty deep understanding of the different mechanics behind advertising and that kind of thing, right? 10 years of advertising sales experience, digital, print, out of home, radio, B2B sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's a few things about the founder's profile that makes me think, okay, this is awesome. There's a couple of things here that are right. What it doesn't say is, hey, this company's built a startup before, or hey, this company knows how to build these kinds of brands. I don't know what they did as an executive. Look them up, or on Instagram, on LinkedIn. So Kevin Trotman. Okay, here we go. Let me go to this. Okay, hello Kevin, good to meet you. Okay, we don't need all these messages up. Okay, founder and okay, so experience. We're working on this for 2 months. Business development, corporate membership, Adweek, great. Before that, sales development manager. So that was sales, manager field sales, manager business development. Okay, so this person has done a lot of ad sales over the years for, I think this is a radio station, for Verizon Media. Okay, cool. So there's a whole bunch of experience here that actually is in line with the ad sales part of this business. So now I'm going to adjust my earlier statements, right? I wish that some of this had come earlier in the pitch deck because I now have a little bit more context for why this company might make sense as an ad sales platform. But as the founder will no doubt know, in order for this to make sense, the business actually will need to have an enormous amount of traffic. And I haven't seen anything here yet that is going to make this traffic happen. We have an advisory group, we have director of social media. There's a bunch of people here, but they don't necessarily jump out to me at, okay, this is definitely the right team to build this kind of company. So we're finding ourselves in a kind of complicated situation here where we have a team that has ad sales experience. That is great. But in order to sell ads, you need to have a platform to sell ads on with a bunch of eyeballs. And there's no part of this story that gives me confidence that this is the team that will build a massive high audience. And without that, I'm like, there seems to be no particular startup experience. There seems to be no particular platform building experience. There isn't a huge amount of, the guy here, maybe he's in the advisory group, Jay Dixon, 10 years of media programming. Great. So that means that this person has experience with that part. But as far as I'm aware, media programming, it's been a while since I was in media. I was a TV producer for a while. In my world, the media programming people basically buy content on one place and then place it into the schedule for scheduling and stuff. Scheduling is less relevant in the streaming economy, so I'm not sure if that makes sense. But also with only $500,000, where are they going to buy this content? Like, where's this content going to come from? So yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with what this company is trying to build. It seems like it's a media production platform that is going to sell advertising, but the believability leaves something to be desired. Okay, what does this slide mean? DMI. Okay, so now I think we discover what DMA means. It means Long Island, North New Jersey, and South Connecticut. I still don't know what DMA stands for, but that's okay. Visitors. Okay. I'm not sure what this slide is trying to convey. Is that where people travel? They go to Manhattan and then they go to all the other boroughs? Populations? Unclear. Don't know what this slide is trying to tell me. New York has the nation's largest population, #1 media advertising market, #1 destination. Okay. And that's the end. Okay. This deck leaves a lot to be desired. What I would have loved to see is a perfect founder market fit for why these founders are the right people to build this platform. And so far, that didn't exist in this slide deck. I think fundamentally, media platforms are not venture backable at the moment. Media is struggling hard to make money. And if very large publications are doing layoffs and are struggling, my question becomes, what does this company have that is like an unfair advantage that puts them head and shoulders above the rest, that makes me go, oh yeah, these guys are going to save the whole media industry and somehow find a niche, even if they are successful. And right now, I don't really believe it. It doesn't feel like this is a thing that this company can pull off. Even if they do pull it off, I don't think those numbers are realistic. The numbers they show in the deck are extremely aggressive, even for a B2B SaaS company. And and B2B SaaS companies have well-trodden routes for going to market and building successful, repeatable business models. Media companies tend to not do that. And there's nothing in this deck that tells me that this company has cracked something that nobody else has figured out. So even if they are successful, and the deck doesn't say that they will be, the numbers don't add up. I don't think they can hit the numbers that good. Even if they do half those numbers, I don't think this is a venture scale business. And so where I'm left is, okay, VCs can't really invest in this space. Like, I have no, like, if they hit those numbers, maybe there is something there, but they need to hit those numbers before VCs will be willing to invest. So it's a little bit of a chicken and egg there. As it stands, I don't think the company will find a bunch of angel investors who are willing to invest. Institutional investors will probably steer clear because media is really hard. And this team seems to have cracked one side of the equation, i.e. the ad sales. But you also need, where's the audience going to come from, right? So that's the audience development part. And then you need a content development part. So where's the content going to come from? How is this content so compelling that the audience will come flocking to this site so the advertising part of it can pick up and run? The website isn't live yet. There's no traction. There's no indication for how this company is going to get the traction it needs to. And in the large scheme of things, I think this becomes a really difficult industry to raise money for. I think the team doesn't strike me as right. That doesn't mean they're not right, by the way. I could be missing stuff. The story couldn't be good enough. Maybe there's ways of saving that. But from the current version of the deck, I'm not seeing it. And then finally, even if everything matches up, I don't have the question answered as to whether or not this is venture scale. So if this team were to come to me as a pitch coach, I'd be like, guys, I'm really sorry. Win me over. Why is this something that people will want to invest in? As an idea, it's interesting, but I feel like there's people out there who already have channels that are focused on a particular city, right? Now, those people, if they already have 10 million followers, they could start a company like this and pivot their customers maybe to a new platform. It's excruciatingly hard. It's very hard to pull off, but maybe they have a fighting chance. There's a few little things that could happen to make this company vaguely viable, but at least according to this deck, that isn't there. And so I know this is a pretty harsh review. And Kevin, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm happy to spend some time talking you through it in more detail. But yeah, as an investor, I think I'm out. If you're a subscriber, just pop over to the knowledge base and check it out. If you're not a subscriber, the first month is $10. So sign up for a month, see what it is like. And after that, it's $29 a month. So take a look at it, see if it's helpful. What I often recommend to people is subscribe while you're fundraising. And then once you're done fundraising, by all means, cancel your subscription. You're not going to hurt me. I want to be here to be helpful to you as a founder. And once I'm no longer useful, by all means, discard me and move on. So yeah, a bunch of people subscribe for the duration of their fundraise and then churn afterwards. And as much as I hate to see you guys go, don't keep subscribing to stuff you don't need. Thank you all for coming. Good luck with your startups. And yeah, check out the Pitch Guide subscriptions. Really good to spend some time with y'all, and have a beautiful day.